Welcome to the Amorous Armadillo. We're going to be playing some Dungeons and Dragons for our game night tonight. I am Ramsey. I'm going to be dungeon mastering, unless I have this screen in front of me. To my left, we got Poncho. Who are you going to be playing, Poncho?
Oh, I am Bedwin Shitsteven, the Dark Sorcerer.
Poncho can see over Ramsey's screen.
Oh, yes, but Poncho is not a cheater.
John?
I'll be playing Selwyn, the Dwarf Fence.
And as fence, you mean rogue?
Fence.
Okay. He's a barrier.
Yes.
And Andrew Summers.
I am going to be playing Corsic Graves, the half-elf paladin.
Groovy. Well, you guys have been living in Waterdeep and adventuring for a little bit of time now, and you're a little bit strapped for cash. It seems to be your standard of living. You're always nearly broke. You have been staying in a rooming house or a boarding house, and you have been able to make rent fairly easily. It has 1 gold piece a week to stay at the Cattle Whale. However, your landlady is not the nicest person and doesn't really tolerate late rent. So you still have had to continually take work. You haven't been able to put your feet up. But you came across a pretty lucrative job posting. 300 gold, which is significant.
How much is our rent?
It is 1 GP a week.
It's expensive.
Well, it's actually
For a week, it's not bad, but we'll be able to cover it plenty with.
It's not bad. It's actually not. It's not just 1 G. It's 1 GP a week, but it includes access to upstairs seating in the nearby tavern, the Salty Anvil. In addition to that, you also get 1 free meal a day included. They've got like some sort of cooperative business arrangement going on, so it actually works out.
Sounds like a great spot to host a D&D game.
Legit.
What's the name of it?
The name is the Cattle Whale Rooming House. You assume that they were trying to spell Caterwall, perhaps,
Okay.
but it's definitely spelled C-A-T-T-E-R. I'm sorry, C-A-T-E-R-W-H-A-L-E. So maybe it's a nautical theme.
It's a silent E. It's like ye old.
But there's a lot of cats outside that make a lot of wailing noises, so you think that the intent was possibly to call it the Caterwall. You have taken a job that would take you a bit north of Waterdeep, up the high road, and into the Mere of Dead Men, which is a swamp. Normally, the high road will skirt the Mere and go all the way around. It's not particularly the safest path. And you manage to secure passage on a merchant's caravan heading north towards Neverwinter. You're just offered basic protection for a short stint, riding on the back of one of the wagons. Really didn't cost you anything, but you don't have your own horses or your own means of travel at this point. Hopping off the wagon as you come to what you can kind of make out as a small path leading into the swamp in the distance as the road continues on away from it. You're able to dust yourselves off and kind of see the wagon off into the distance as it continues without you. You're going to have to make your own passage back to Waterdeep, probably by foot on your return trip, but it's not going to be too bad. It'll be a few days, and you've got the equipment to do it, and you are traveling to a small settlement within the swamp in order to take this job. As you guys hop down off the wagon, if you want to kind of describe your characters a bit more to each other or give any updates or visual cues.
What's the name of the settlement that we're going to?
You'll be heading to a town, a little village called New West Harbor. Depending on the road, it'll probably take you a few hours walk to get to it, at least based on the information that you have where it should be located. You may know something about it. That would be a history check if you wanted to see if you know any details.
All right.
Also, I'm gonna think a history check too, just because.
Sure.
It's a 12.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is a 17.
Okay.
I know my strength.
Selwyn isn't really not something you've heard about, but Bedwin, you do know a little bit of the history.
Well, I'm from the north too.
Well, yeah, it doesn't come from that. You have heard tales though. You're used to kind of listening for trouble, perhaps, maybe, who knows, or maybe just overheard it. There was a village called West Harbor ages ago, before the Spell Plague even. But apparently, rumor said it was destroyed during some kind of cataclysmic event even before then, before the Spell Plague. So that's over 100 years. So you don't know much about New West Harbor. You don't know when it was founded. You would assume pretty recently, per some of the rumors. So you do know it is a real place. You don't know anyone personally who's actually traveled there and back.
Sounds like a great place to go.
The person giving you this or posting this job is a man called Tarmus.
Right.
I wasn't going to write that down, but since everyone else is.
So it is.
What was his name? Tumnus?
Tarmus.
Tarmus.
Tarmas.
Mr. Thomas.
Mr. Thomas. And you are. It is late summer in the north, so it's still relatively hot and uncomfortable. It does get pretty darn cold in Waterdeep. It gets. In fact, you know that it's. You've at least been near the winters. You know how cold it does get still this far. You're still pretty far north.
I wouldn't say it's that cold.
No, for you, it's not that cold at all.
Yeah.
There's actual seasons when there's actually no snow on the ground. So that's pretty nice, as of now. So you're dressed probably a little comfortably. You do know that the heat just even on the wagon is pretty bad.
Fine.
You're walking into a swamp. So, Bedouin, you want to give us a little description here?
Yeah, sure. So I'm an Asmar because I want to make this really approachable. So I'm tall and pretty and thin. And the dominant clothing I have on is like a midnight blue sleeveless trench sort of thing going. Let me stay cool, but still give me this really sweet profile.
A sleeveless trench?
Yeah, it's like basically.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah.
Got to keep his hands free for all the spellcasting.
Absolutely, all those somatics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your shoulders loose.
It's a word I just learned. But yeah, and I'm from the north, so I'm really blonde, and I'm really Aryan.
Fair-skinned.
So,
Yeah.
Super pale.
You're very blonde. You didn't lean towards the red.
correct.
So definitely blonde. And for those who don't know, an Asmar basically looks human. You just look like a preternaturally attractive human.
Yeah, I'm super sexy.
It doesn't go into details as to what that means, but there is an ethereal beauty to your dumb face. John, what is Selwyn?
So,
Look like?
Selwyn is he's a dwarf,
Mm-hmm.
and he is fairly stocky and lean for a dwarf. He is short hair,
Mm-hmm.
short dark hair, and clean shaven,
Mm-hmm.
with kind of ruddy skin. He takes off his sweet starry nightcap, hops off the back of the wagon. There's bulges of gear showing from underneath his ponchos, and he wipes the dust off of himself and kind of gains his bearing.
Sweet. What is his relationship with these two other adventurers?
So they've been traveling for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
They've both proven to be reliable. This is a great traveling companion with Corsic, and Bedouin is not a bad traveling companion, but also can potentially be the road to great riches.
You do wear some fine clothes. You have a
I am
tendency to
fine.
act like he tends to act like somebody that has been accustomed to money in the past.
Correct.
So Andrew, give me a little bit about Corsic. What does he look like?
Corsic is a average height human, but half elf. He's average height for a human.
Okay. Confuse me.
He's a half elf with olive skin and short black hair. Currently, he's wearing a suit of chainmail with a red tabard over the top of it. And as he gets off the caravan, he carries his kite shield with him.
Oh, yeah?
Can you have double resistance to something? Is that such a thing?
No. You
So-
can be resistant or completely immune.
I don't need this, but I already called dibs.
He's got a potion of poison resistance.
Dwarves are already inherently.
Poison resistant. Although when I first looked at it, I thought it said potion of potion resistance.
I don't know what it said. I saw a potion and an unclaimed thing in the center of the table.
For when you really want to be
That's fine.
difficult.
Yeah, you can't heal me anymore.
All right. So you know what you're supposed to be doing. We know a little bit about Corsic. Corsic, what's your reasoning for traveling with these two?
Well, as Selwyn said, he's a reliable traveling companion. We disagree on a few points morally, but he's been reliable and he's been good for getting work because we're not in a good spot. But Bedouin here, Bedouin's a pet project. He's got a bit of a dark streak, but he wants to do the right thing, and that's nice to me.
I do try. Bedouin's a real nice guy
Yeah, he's got a good heart.
and a great accent.
I'm glad that's where you went.
All right.
All right.
So we're looking for Tarmus.
You're heading. You're looking for Tarmus in the village of New West Harbor, and you know that it's down this particular path. It's barely a road, but it is wide enough. Go ahead and actually, Selwyn, you would notice this right off the bat. Actually, as soon as you come down, you kind of dust yourself off and adjust your ponchos. You notice that there are already wagon tracks leading off the high road and down this path into the swamp, and they look relatively recent. At your cursory glance, you're able to tell that it looks like it's within probably the past day or so. There haven't been any heavy rains, so it's a little difficult for you to judge just at a glance at how long it's been. But definitely the wagon. And one thing that you would know is that this was a publicly posted job.
Okay. You know, if we would have timed this better, we wouldn't have had to walk.
Okay.
I suppose that's one way of looking at
Yep.
it.
Yeah, but now we get to actually like experience the nature and
Yeah, let's
trees and such.
Really take the scenic route.
Yeah.
let's get a move on, or someone else might be getting our purse.
All right.
Fair enough.
So you head down the path towards New West Harbor. You're traveling for about an hour or so before it really starts feeling swampy. You start fighting off mosquitoes and bugs, and the ground is definitely loamy. It's soft, but there's some firmness here. There's definitely, you can notice there's rocks. They've actually paved this to some extent. They brought rocks in, and so there's some decent ground there. It gets pretty deep into the swamp. If your typical swampy noises, the trees get a little grown in. You get some of the, I don't know if we would call it Spanish moss, but hanging gray moss on these trees. And you've been traveling for about an hour, actually probably closer to 2 hours of travel. And Selwyn, you would go ahead and notice this, but everyone give me a perception check. See how much detail you get. That's your perception check, Anders. That's it's the same. What did you get?
I got a 7.
Negligible.
15.
You think that you hear what sounds like shouts coming from the distance off the road. It's a little shady now, but you do think you notice something a little bit further ahead and a little bit off, significantly off the road.
Can I make out what type of shouts they are? Like, do they sound distressed? Do they sound like they're hollering at somebody?
You would think they sound distressed. You can't make out any words from the distance that you're at. The swamp's kind of reflecting off the water, and you're definitely got bog on either side of you to some extent.
You hear that?
No.
No, what do you hear?
Someone's in trouble.
Where are they? What direction?
That way.
Let's go.
Let's go.
As you move further down the road, you notice that the wagon tracks kind of settle, and it looks like they kind of go off the road, but it looks like there seems to be a path that leads off the path. It doesn't look particularly safe, but as you kind of glance out there between the trees, it does look like there's actual ground. Like, it looks like it could be traversable. You're not sure if you would have made that judgment call to take a wagon, even based on the tracks. It's kind of a small wagon, but you're not sure.
It's not an established trail.
Are they digging deep furrows? Does it look like it's real heavy?
The wagon itself?
Yeah.
Relatively... give me an intelligence check.
6. Okay.
I'm not sure about wagons. You don't know from wagons.
Yeah, we don't do much wagons.
Does this swamp have rumors of banditry or monsters or anything?
You can give me a history check and see if you...
That's a 2.
No. Don't really much about... You just know that most people avoid it.
Okay.
You haven't done a lot of research on this
So
job.
there's no reason to approach this with any extraordinary caution. So
Depends.
Worst thing's probably if we get stuck in the sinkhole.
so
Yeah.
Off the beaten path, is the ground depressed? Is it like sopping wet? When you step on it, does it squish beneath you?
Right off the path, it doesn't seem particularly unsafe.
All right, so not immediate danger at least, but yeah, we should get going if there's somebody in distress.
Straight up.
So I'll walk a little bit ahead, just a little bit, not too far, but a little bit.
Sure.
All right. Check the footing.
Yeah, give me a survival roll. And if you you can take it with advantage if everyone else is also keeping a track. You already mentioned, Corsic already mentioned that he was paying attention to the ground, so you can take it with advantage. Not all of you, just John.
Oh, well, you said
17.
You're all
we're-
helping.
we're-
That's
we're
how
helping.
that's how
Oh,
someone's
okay.
assisting. He gets
Oh, okay.
17.
17. You notice the path stays pretty wide, but about 100 feet or so in, you can see the firmness becomes kind of patchy. And you notice that the wagon starts, you can tell by the furrows that the wagon's kind of slipping and kind of dipping a bit clearly deeper. And you can notice that it's clearly deeper in some spots. So it's definitely losing solid ground. But the wagon, for some reason, keeps on. The tracks continue. You can all give me perception checks again.
9.
17.
19.
Okay. Both Selwyn and Bedouin, you can hear distinct shouts at this point. You've always been able to kind of hear it. You definitely can hear it now. It's definitely in distress. It's like, help! Damn it! Help!
Is it
And
in common?
it's in common, and there seems to be intermittent sobs. And it's very loud. They're very pronounced shouts and broken up what sounds like exertion. You rolled a 19.
I did.
You almost sound like you can hear creaking of some sort of creaking noise. Like
We need
wood.
to go quicker and now.
All right. Pick up the step.
All right. Everyone give me a survival check.
Cool. I'm continuing my pace.
Okay, you two give me are you going to go past him?
Yeah, I'll stay inside the tracks because that seems at least somewhat stable if the cart went over it. But
Sure. Then you two can give me survival checks.
it's a 12.
It's a 10.
Okay. Yeah, you lose your footing here and there. You stumble a bit as you charge forward, but you're able to
Oh, no. It's an 11. I know. You're welcome.
Yeah, that was the unlucky number though. So your leg gets bitten off by an alligator. So you're able to charge forward a bit and outpace your companion, and so you're able to see this scene before he does. You can see what you would assume to be like a half submerged, or mostly probably like 2/3 submerged wagon that went completely off into what is a deep mire, a deep muck. On top of the wagon, you see an individual dressed in loose robes and light. You can glint that maybe they're wearing some light armor as well, flailing with like something in their hand that looks like it might be a book or a package of some kind, at a glowing, flickering light that's kind of hovering around him, like an ethereal, almost like a torchlight that's lit. And this particular area, it's relatively shaded with the trees,
Overhanging
and
trees and everything.
trees and the moss. It's like a little almost like a cave as far as the light is concerned.
Huh.
And you see him. He's shouting indiscriminately at this thing, and he does appear to be sobbing as well.
Is there a definite point where suddenly the ground gives out? Like where the cart clearly hit a point, or does it just gradually depress down to where he's currently at?
No, it looks like you wouldn't think a sudden point because the way the cart is, it's submerged. It's not hanging or leaning. It's not like it rolled into something. It looks like
It's
it went
like
off
tilt.
Yeah.
So I'll go as close as I can, as close as it looks like I can physically get without going into the marsh myself, and call out to him. What's happening? Are you okay?
They're all dead. Thank Hogmore. Help! And he's just swatting at this thing.
Does this look familiar? Is this something that's recognizable as far as what this
The thing?
shimmering thing is?
You can be a history or religion check.
I'll make a religion check.
Can I make an Arcana check?
You could also make an Arcana check.
That's an 11.
Okay.
Like an 8.
But
At an 11, you're fairly certain there are stories of creatures of supernatural origin that lure people, that are these type of like spiritual things, but you're not able to determine whether or not this is an undead thing or some sort of fey creature. You're not able to parse it in your knowledge.
But one of them is obviously a people.
One of them is a person. He
and
looks
the other
like a
one
human person.
is not a people.
Yeah, you're a little bit farther behind.
All right. So when I get to within range, I'm going to shoot the not a people.
Okay. What are you gonna do before someone gets there? Is there anything that I'm gonna say you guys can do? Both make an action before he can get there to assess the situation.
How far is it from where this man is to where we are?
You moved up as far as you
Right.
were. It was obviously safe. You're sure he's a good 90 feet away.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
more
to
than
where
I
you're
was
obviously
thinking.
safe. If you can probably get closer, but you're not really sure of your footing. Your feet are already wet.
Right. I was thinking originally tie a rope around somebody and send them off into the water, see if they can fish him out. But if there's potentially more people that have died here, there might be a bit more pressing need. We might just need to risk it.
Go swimming?
Yeah, we might just need to risk it.
Yeah, it sucks. You're the one wearing armor though, so
It's true.
Any decision you're gonna make?
I got to start wading in. I got to get to him.
Okay.
So how close can I get to the not a people and still be on solid ground?
You don't know. Based on where you're at, you're about 90 feet away, and it feels very solid and safe. Beyond that, it definitely looks wet and marshy, and it looks like it's patchy. But you'd have to make a check to see if you can every time you try to get closer.
So okay, so I have an idea that is creative and I want to try it.
Okay.
Can I move forward using kind of my Ray of Frost cantrip and try to freeze the ground as I go to try to make it a bit more stable?
So you're trying to ice the ground,
Essentially,
with
yeah.
your, like Iceman, make a little ice skating.
I mean, I'm not trying to make it skated, but I mean, you're walking in the swamp. It's mostly water. You're seeping into it. I want to make it a bit more firmer by freezing it.
I could say you could try it. I think that would do something.
Okay.
So go ahead. I mean, the way that the cantrip works, it's a ray, so you're gonna have to kind of slowly pace your way there.
It's fine.
Okay. And you're gonna go full tilt into the mire.
I'm not going to be reckless about it, but I'm going to proceed with the knowledge that I'm probably going to be getting wet. I'm probably
Okay.
going to be walking up to my waist or something.
Okay. Both of you, as you progress, I want you to make survival checks.
All right.
Yours is at disadvantage and yours is at advantage.
Survival, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Darn, I'd like to take the higher one. That's a 10.
Okay.
So 19.
All right. So you're pacing, relatively slow pace, but as you continue to get closer and closer and closer, you feel confident that you're able to get fairly close. You run forward. You're actually okay. You slip and fall a bit. Into the muck. You pull yourself up. You continue far forward. Ultimately, you stumble into deep water. I need you to make an athletics check.
All right. That's a 14.
Okay. So yeah, you dive in expecting that it's going to happen at some point. You just don't know when. And you slurp down into it. You do feel like there's muck. It's much deeper than it looks. It's like silt. It's like a few feet of water. You can make sense, and then it's just silt and muck, and you're able to get your footing on like 1 foot,
All right.
and you're kind of looking for your footing there. So
This is not feasible.
It's going to be questionable. You're only about it's a little bit under less than chest deep for you.
How far away am I at this point?
From where you got, you're about 20 feet away from the wagon.
I'll probably throw a rope to him from here.
Okay. All right.
How far am I away from the fake creature?
At this point, you're 40. They're both the same distance. You're
Both
about
40 feet away?
from it at this point. And at this point is when your compatriot Selwyn arrives, and you see this scene. You see Corsic is just splashing into the water, and he's kind of like struggling to move forward. And then you see Bedouin like shooting ice beams at the ground and like gradually trying to get closer and closer to this individual, shouting in panic.
Okay, so I assess the situation. I see there's a man in need.
Mm-hmm.
There's some sort of light attacking him.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. I am going to shoot it.
Okay. Go ahead and make a shoot. I would need you to. How far are you getting? How close are you getting? What's your range?
My maximum range is 120 feet.
Okay. What is your Is there a breakdown of the range, or is that it?
My minimum range, it says 30 to 120 feet.
Okay, so anything past 30 feet is going to be at disadvantage.
Okay.
So if you're shooting from...
So I'm going to get where I'm pretty sure-footed. So I'm not particularly worried about it. I'm not moving at a pace to put myself in danger. Like, I'm keeping my pace.
Okay, so you could follow up. The safest pass would probably be following up where Bedouin is.
Okay.
But that's still only going to get you about 40 feet away, which would still be outside of your optimized range.
Sure. Well, I would take an unoptimized shot.
Okay, so you can go ahead and take a shot before...
You said I'm
what
at
happens.
disadvantage?
You're at disadvantage.
That will be a 14.
It sails by close, but doesn't hit the flame. And as that shot sails by it, you see the flame kind of flicker, and it becomes invisible. You stop. You just no longer see it. It goes out of sight. And you see, but you all three notice that guy on the top of what's remaining of this wagon that is sinking slowly, but you've noticed the period of time there that it is dropping, like maybe about an inch or 2 inches so far.
Right.
He's still panicking and kind of swinging wildly as if he assumes that there's still something there. He's like, it's not gone!
That's a weird thing to say.
It goes invisible. I drop my holy symbol in the water, and they're all dead. Jim's dead.
Not Jim.
We can talk about this later.
I'm gonna throw you a rope. So I'm gonna fish. Corsic is gonna fish around his backpack, pull out his rope,
Okay.
and he's gonna hold on one end, give it a good throw out as far as he can get it.
Give me a strength athletics check.
All right. It's gonna be an 18.
Okay. Let's see if he can catch the rope.
If anything, it'll rest on top of the water. Water.
The bag.
Oh no. He manages. You hit the rope. You hit the rope almost perfectly. It lays right on top of the wagon and kind of hooks. And he doesn't notice it at first. And then he kind of sees what you're doing and catches on. You already said you're gonna throw a rope.
Yeah.
He's half listening. He managed to stop it with his foot before it slides off the top. So he's still kind of flailing wildly and looking at the rope and looking around him to try to see something. I would like you all to roll initiative at this point.
All right then.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Natural 20.
Wow. All right. Let's see what we got here. So Corsic is at a 20.
Selwyn X on 14.
And Bedouin?
22.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, fancy.
Thank you.
Is your natural 20 unmodified?
Correct.
Yeah, well. Feels good, though, doesn't it?
Oh, you're not going to let him go first with a natural 20
That's not how
anyways?
that works. No.
Wow.
No, that's not how it works.
Holy cow. All right, I'll take it. That's ridiculous.
You heard it here first, folks. He's going to take it.
I'm taking it.
He's taking
that
it.
thing. I can't tell you. I rolled really poorly, but
Come on.
apparently this thing has a +9 to his initiative. So it's
Wow,
still,
that's the fastest cart hobo ever.
not him. The other thing. He's
wisp.
going dead last. Cart hobo. So Bedouin, what are you doing?
All right.
You're 40 feet away. You've been iced in the ground.
So first I want to ask, what has been pulling his cart through this mire so much? Does he have like horses or oxen or something?
I did. We did.
Are they dead now?
They're underwater.
Okay.
I'm assuming yes.
All right, so that's an important thing to know.
They're water horse.
Cool.
Is he still swatting as he's chatting?
Yes. Indiscriminately. He
Oh.
doesn't seem like he's hitting a thing, but he's kind of like looking around, trying to look behind him.
He's probably responding as an afterthought.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't get to actually make a useful action until the very end.
cool. So Bedouin is going to cast Mage Armor on himself.
Mm-hmm.
His friend has just shot an arrow at a thing that just disappeared, and there's two of us here and one cart hobo. I'm gonna assume it's gonna come for us. So Mage Armor on myself, and I'm going to continue moving forward closer to the cart. But I'm trying not to get stuck in the mire. I'm moving slowly for effect.
Okay. I'm going to say you're moving slowly for effect. You can get to about 20 feet
It's fine.
away from it. And at that point, you can tell that it's just, there's no freezing anything.
It
that's gonna
becomes
make
fording a river.
Yes. But that is all you want to do at this moment?
I believe that's all that I can do.
Yeah, because you are casting your cantrip to move forward.
Correct.
All right. So, Corsic.
Corsic is going to instruct the man to stop swatting. Go ahead, grab the rope. The light will protect you. I'm going to go ahead and cast Sanctuary on him.
Okay. And to explain Sanctuary.
Sanctuary is a spell that targets a creature, and you ward that creature against attacks. Until the spell ends, any creature who targets the creature with an attack or a harmful spell needs to make a wisdom save, and if they do not pass, they cannot target that creature.
You cast that on him,
I do.
and then he looks at you and he's like, I have that spell! All right.
He did say he was a cleric.
No, he said he had a holy symbol.
True.
He alluded to the fact that he
This
might.
confirms that he might be a cleric or a
Right.
paladin of some sort. Certainly not a paladin, though. He doesn't have any kind of armor.
He is definitely wearing armor,
Oh, is he?
but it is not heavy armor.
Oh.
It's
I'm going to assume he's a cleric.
Yeah. It looks like you would assume to be some sort of studded leather. You could see it underneath his little tunic.
He appears to be pooping his pants.
To be straighten his pants. That's great. That worked out really well for you. However, you feel a slight tingling as something unnatural comes very close to you.
In the water or out of the water?
Out of the water, above the waist, out of the
Touch
water.
my foot!
Just stay in there longer and see what happens. I would like you. I can't do that yet. That's already happened. So I'm gonna try to do some bad things to you.
All right. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Ooh, shit. What's your AC?
My AC is currently 18.
Okay. So you see this flame kind of appear in front of you. And as it appears, you get a better sense of it. There is almost a shape to it now that it's close. It almost looks like it has some sort of vague form that you can't quite place it. Maybe that looks like it could have been a head. Maybe those were arms, but no, it's not. Yeah.
All right.
It still looks like a flickering flame to you, but you do see it, and within the shade of the trees, it does have some sort of luminescence around you.
Within reach or a little bit
very
further
much
up?
in
Very,
reach.
like right
very
there.
much in reach. It's right in your face.
Right in my face.
It's right there. It just appears out of nowhere, and it's
That's
right there.
disconcerting.
And you feel like the air around you kind of crackle with what feels like almost electricity, but nothing happens. It just light up. I would like the next person to take their turn. That's going to be Selwyn.
Can I see whatever it is?
It did just appear next to Corsic, so yes, it's visible.
So I will move a little bit to get closer in range. I'm sure I can get close enough now, right?
You had gotten, the closest that you can get following up behind Bedouin. You're roughly parallel to each other, so you're actually very close to this. You're like 10 feet, 20 feet away.
All right. Well, then I'm going to shoot. Because that's what I do.
Don't miss
Right.
your mark.
That is a 21.
Well, you do need to get different dice because you can't read any of them once that you roll. You mentioned that before. All right, so a 21 does hit. Hits it dead on.
Okay. Do I get any fancy bonuses on this?
You possibly. What is your shooting with the what are you using? Your crossbow? Your magic crossbow?
Keldrakar.
Keldrakar.
Fell sight.
The hand crossbow.
Yes.
Keldrakar fell sight. You do fire at it. Roll your base damage. And what extra damage? What extra effects
Against
does it do?
undead.
It does what?
D8.
Okay. So, actually, you are a rogue. So this is an enemy that is engaged with your companion. So this would be, you technically would get a sneak attack on this.
Okay.
And it is, you notice it kind of thirsts for this target, so you get an extra D8 of damage.
Convenient.
We're looking at 10, 14, 17. I don't add dex to that, right?
Yes, you do. You add your ability modifier to the
17.
damage.
In 5th edition, you do.
Not your proficiency bonus, but your
21.
ability.
Ooh.
21. So
Nice
you
punch.
you see this. I mean, you've seen someone fire this crossbow before. It's what he uses.
Right.
But you don't know that you've actually seen it do this. The bolt, like a silver gleaming bolt, shoots out of the crossbow, leaving almost like it kind of disappears for moments as it travels, and then it strikes this target. And this thing is ephemeral. It doesn't have a shape, but when this silver bolt hits it, it's like it hit something solid. The bolt kind of flashes into what almost looks like ethereal shrapnel, and nearly blows this thing apart. You see it kind of discorporate and then kind of pull itself better back together. It almost looks like it can't quite get its shape back. It's like it's falling apart. And the bolt vanishes, and you hear the telltale click of it being reloaded in his mystically in his crossbow.
Impressive.
Did I get it?
Good job, Selwyn.
It's still there.
It's still there, but good job.
All right. That brings us to our unfortunate traveler. He can't do much other than but grab that rope. So he's going to do that. You see him kind of take his book and gingerly kind of try to find a place in his pack to put it and secure it. Takes a little bit too much time with that. And you're not really paying that much attention, in your opinion. Everyone else is misdirected.
Son of a bitch.
He grabs that rope and he kind of tries to secure it. He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing with rope. He doesn't look like he knows much about ropes, but he's kind of unsure of himself and kind of pulling as much of it taut as he can. But then how is this rope secured?
Right now,
Are
I'm
you
just
just holding
holding onto it.
Okay, he looks at you, looks at the rope, he looks at the thing, and he's not sure what he wants to do. He looks like he's just like sitting there looking back, and like he sits down on the edge of the wagon like he wants to think about sliding off in the water, and he's just not sure how deep it is. He doesn't look like he wants to make any action.
How far off is he?
How far away from you?
Yeah.
He's about less than 20 feet,
Right.
like 15 feet.
I'm not going to let go of the rope. You need to jump as far as you can, and I'll pull you the rest of the way.
Give me a charisma check.
All right, we'll do.
Persuasion.
Persuasion specifically?
Yeah. Seems like you're trying to be polite.
Oh, man, that's a 6.
Is it though? Is it a 6?
It is a 6.
How did you come to that conclusion?
I added 5 to my 1.
There it is. That's what it was. It was the critical failure.
You are the least persuasive you're capable of being in this. You sounded like you almost sounds like you want to drop. He's going to jump in. He's going to let that rope go
I'm just
and
going to
laugh.
drop it. Leave.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
He
I'm
does
not.
trust you.
I'm not going to let the
I'm
rope
not gonna
go.
do it.
I'm
Just-
not going to do it.
Come on, just jump in.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah. You're just you're a little short. You didn't have the patience for it, and
I have this thing in my face. I'm only half paying attention.
Yeah, and then Selwyn just shot it with like a magic explodey death
Yeah.
anti-undead arrow. You're a little flustered. Yeah, he doesn't move. He just sits there and looks at you, and he doesn't look like he can make the jump. Bedouin.
Me. So I know where this thing is.
It's
currently.
right by your compatriot.
Cool.
less than 20 feet away.
I'm gonna cast Witch Bolt at it.
Okay. Which one? Which bolt?
Is that gonna be? God help me. How about a 12?
No.
Oh wait, no, more than that actually, because I had my proficiency bonus as well. How about a 14?
Ooh, that's much better than 12. That's still a no. Your witch bolt crackles like there's this line of energy is looking for the target to link to, and it kind of flies past both your companion, your half-elven companion, and this wispy being, and just kind of strikes a tree and fries it a little bit. You see a squirrel go, "Wah!"
I don't get my spell slot back, correct?
Correct. You do not get your spell slot back.
Spellcasters suck.
Spell slots that require rolls to hit suck, in my opinion. I don't like those. But whatever you're learning.
But the payoff.
But the payoff, it's a cool spell, actually. All right. Is that all you want to do? Take your shot. Stay secure.
Yeah, straight up.
All right, Corsic.
I don't have the means of drawing my weapon right now without letting go of this rope, and I'm
Mhm.
committed to this. So
Okay.
I don't know if there's an action I can take to better defend myself. Just brace for it.
There is.
Like a total defense action.
Yeah. So if you would like to, you can effectively just put yourself on defense. I'm looking to see if it's here on my screen. I'm positive you can do that.
Oh yeah, looking over your screen, I believe it is the dodge action.
I think it is dodge.
So I'll do that.
Yeah,
And I'm
thank
gonna
you.
keep holding onto this rope.
Hey, you want to come over here?
Yeah, let me just.
I like to make fun of you for it, but I mean, I'm not reading anything, but I can see all this shit too. So.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not looking down there. It's on this side of the screen here.
Oh yeah,
He's actually good at
over there.
screen.
There's like a worm or
I wrote it,
something.
but it's blocked. Anyway, we'll move on. So you'll just try to, as best you can, avoid damage.
whatever's coming
So
at
you'll be
me.
dodging for this turn. Well, that's awesome because this thing gets to go. So it's not really liking that you can hit it. It can actually potentially get to. In fact, it actually looks pretty safe. So it kind of dashes at Selwyn. Kind of flickers. Doesn't go invisible. It just kind of moves and through like it's like gliding over the water straight at your dwarven companion, and attempts to attack him. What is your AC?
14.
It's great. So it comes at you, and you hear the crackle of electricity as it comes near you. It's right up in your face, but does nothing.
Can I see what it is?
It looks like some ephemeral glowing flame with some sort of shape to it.
Okay.
But you can't. It's sometimes it looks like it maybe has a form. Maybe that's a face, and then it doesn't have a face.
Not a thing that you talk to, more of a thing that you kill.
It doesn't appear to be talky.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Okay. So, Selwyn, you're actually up, and this thing is in your grill.
Okay. I will definitely disengage.
Using your
bonus action.
Disengage. Your special roguey ability.
Yep. I shall give a little space between this thing and I will let loose another shot.
Okay. Take a shot.
That is a 15.
Okay. Your shot sail flies wide. As you kind of back up, you kind of lose your footing in the marsh and the wetness. But you shoot wide. You kind of wait for a second, and then as it rearms and shimmers. Our unfortunate friend doesn't have the. He's just kind of watching all of this unfold. He's seeing it kind of move. Go ahead and give me another charisma check
Absolutely.
to see if you look like you're more confident this time.
That's an 18.
Okay. All right. It looks like now that this thing moved away from you and you're the target instead of him climbing towards the enemy, you see him take the plunge.
All right.
And he hops in. Goodness gracious. And you see him kind of plop in. He goes down really low and it hits. You see that it's like drops in water. He actually goes underwater.
All right.
And you feel it kind of go taut.
Got to start pulling.
All right. But you can't do that right now.
Can't do it now.
Okay. He might drown before then. Bedouin.
It's me. So I see where it is now again.
Yes, it is now. It is now dashed across. It is right next to you now.
It's right next to me.
Yeah, you're not engaged with it, but it's
Okay,
about 10 feet away.
All right. So I really want to make sure that my friends can find this. So I'm going to cover it in fleas and mites and mayflies. I'm going to cast Infestation.
Okay.
So it needs to make a Constitution saving throw DC 13.
Con?
Yes.
I feel sad. I think I missed that. All right. What happens when it fails?
Oh, sweet. All right, cool. Yeah.
Bedouin's walking around with a vial of fleas.
He just throws it. That's all it is. I know magic.
So I cause a cloud of mites, fleas, probably mosquitoes. We're in a swamp, and other parasites to appear momentarily on a creature I can see within range. If he fails, he takes 2 plus my thing.
No, it's just whatever it says on the spell.
Two poison damage.
Okay.
And moves 5 feet in a random direction.
Okay. So what you see happening is you throw this and this thing explodes on it. They didn't realize it was poison damage. So this whole big swarm of mites and fleas erupt on this invisible figure, and they just buzz around it. It doesn't seem to register them, and they kind of buzz fly away.
Okay, cool. Well, he still does other things too.
Nope.
Yeah. It doesn't say that.
Okay. What does it do?
He moves.
Mm-hmm.
He moves randomly 5 feet to the west.
I don't think he cares about it.
Mm-mm.
Well, I do.
Mm-mm.
I do.
I don't think he cares about bugs.
Yeah. Doesn't care about bugs.
Well, it doesn't matter. He still runs away.
Doesn't care about bugs.
It's just right there.
Well, the problem with West, I might let him do it because I believe West is just back in right next to Selwyn. So maybe he'll take the free movement. He'll feel compelled to just move towards Selwyn.
I like the idea of Bedouin walking around with a vial of fleas.
Yeah. Just collect them.
Go, my
Goes out in
swampy
the streets.
friend.
That's the only thing.
A big giant wave of like cloud of mosquitoes and shit goes and just goes right through him.
That's the material component for the spell. It's a living flea.
A single living flea.
Just at least one flea.
I got a lot of living components.
I can't find my fleas.
Corsic.
Quick, come here.
I'm going to begin pulling on.
Give me an
on
athletics
this
check.
line. It's a 22.
Sure. Yeah, you pull taut. You start dragging this dead weight towards you. And you ever do actually see his head pop up out of the water, and he's kind of trying to like pull himself closer to you.
Is this dude like a paraplegic or something?
No, he just fell underwater into the muck.
The muck can get pretty bad.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Dude,
All
he's
right.
Ray of Frost.
Well, you weren't going in the direction of the deep water. Let's see what I can actually do here. I'm gonna actually redirect my ire at this stupid sorcerer throwing fleas at me. So it dashes towards you and with flickering light and tries to do something horrible to you. What's your AC?
17.
Son of a... How is it 17?
Oh,
you got mage armor on.
I have mage armor on.
So, yeah, it moves toward you, same thing. Flickering like electricity permeates the air. You can feel like the hairs in the back of your neck stick up, but it just kind of like tries to move you and kind of move out of the way so it can't get fully in contact with you. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. Selwyn.
You can still see it.
Yes,
I can shoot it.
you can. You're also, he's in combat with one of your allies. If you can hit.
That is a 21.
21 sails past it just barely.
You fucking kidding me?
No, yeah, it's tough to hit.
That hit last time.
You know it was more than 21.
Okay.
All right. Oh wait, no, you rolled 21. I'm sorry, that does hit. I looked at the wrong thing.
Did you?
I did look at the wrong thing.
And 13, 14, 18.
You see it flash into pieces and then kind of like, and then it's gone.
Hopefully it's not just invisible again.
No, you can feel like as if like there's like a pop in the air.
Did I get it?
Yeah, I think so. Way to go. You succeeded where I failed.
Like usual.
Your catch of the day is panting and trying to pull himself toward you. Give me another.
Gotta keep going.
Give me another athletics check.
3 drowns.
Quick.
17.
17. You're able to pull him up into your arms. He's like hanging onto you. It's like all water weight.
Lift him up onto the bank.
You're able to drag him back. You're pretty deep in the water, and you're able to get him safely onto the bank. And he's just kind of like curls up there and kind of pulls himself up onto his backside, and kind of sits up in a half seated position, and just kind of like sits there, just like staring at nothing, breathing. He's, thank you.
What's visible in that wagon?
You can't see anything visible. It seems like it's sinking further. Looks like it was looks like a wooden wagon. You barely make it out. You get about 4 or 5 feet. Maybe it's like 4 feet off the ground, 3 feet off the ground. It's gradually sinking.
I'll call out. Are we out of initiative now?
Yes.
I call out to. So what on the wagon absolutely needs to be saved? Because it's about to drown the whole thing.
And he's like, I don't know. We had basic supplies.
So
for the
nothing.
job.
Nothing is what you're saying.
I mean, if we can get my friends' bodies, I could maybe get them. Oh God.
No, I don't think so.
Yep. Time is money, and those are your friends. So you get their bodies. Let's go, guys.
He's just weeping. He just starts weeping. No, I'm ready for this.
It's a shame what happened to your companions, but there's no recovering them at this point. To do so would risk the death of everybody here, because as you're well aware, the water is treacherous.
I know. I should have been paying attention. I know.
I don't know why you're out here, but you can come with us at least till we get back to some kind of civilization.
It was the job. We just took the job.
Well, in any case,
Jim.
Hey,
Jimmy.
how close can I get to the wagon?
You can, as far as safely,
Yeah.
you were like 40 feet away.
40 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it.
Yeah, it went very quickly. You're not sure why it went that quickly into this. You're not sure what the rationale for this was.
Okay.
So I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna start doing my Ray of Frost, trailblazing, breaking trail.
Back.
Yeah, I'm gonna presume that everybody's gonna follow me back to to the road, but yeah, I want to be.
Yeah, you're fine. Like you're fine. Like without an urgency around it of just paying attention to where you're going.
Yeah.
And like making it like keeping your footing. This is just swamp environment. You can visually, unless there's like illusion. You're
Well,
fine.
we also have a freaking Barney Fife over here, just freaking flopping about the farm here. So I want to make it easy for him as well.
Okay. Well, it's very quickly you're able to find relatively sure footing if you're taking a decent pace.
I'll move a little bit ahead, and if there's any particularly swampy patches, I'll
Okay.
jab a little. Use the handle to my hammer to like just jab a little hole into the ground.
Okay. Make it more swampy.
Yeah.
More difficult.
Here, mark it.
I thought you were gonna. I'm gonna throw down a little flag. I keep like little orange flags on wires and toss down.
I do have a billion ball bearings.
Not sure that would help.
Be a
but
shiny thing.
That's true. Taking the path back the way you came was not a difficult thing for any of you to do. So you make it back onto the main path. This stranger kind of trailing behind you because he doesn't seem like he knows what else to do.
Is he a human?
He is human. He appears to be human.
So
Rounded ears, average height.
What's your name, bub?
Sniffles.
Sniffles. That's a weird
No,
name.
he sniffles. Barney's.
Barney's.
Just
Are you being funny or? No shit, huh?
So you mentioned a job. What job would this be?
I wasn't really paying attention to that's not what I do, but it's something in the village down this way. Taking a job. It was a posting. I'm just the cleric. He just wipes he tries to wipe his sniffles and he's like wiping muck on his matte face. He's like, oh, doesn't have anything to clean himself with. He just
Who's your deity?
looks at you. I am a cleric of Agua.
Who the hell's Aqua?
God of knowledge. Actually, go ahead and give me a religion check.
The intelligence check?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. It's the god of water.
God of Agua.
Ah, yes.
Really?
Can I make a religion check?
You sure can.
That will be a. I am not good at religion. 19.
I want to do it too.
I don't
Oh,
have a
you're
good
not
modifier. I just rolled well.
You just, yeah.
I got a 17.
Okay. Both of you are aware of Akma. He has there is at least several temples in Waterdeep. He's a god of knowledge, effectively a goodly aligned god. A lot of scholars will follow Agma.
Dude didn't know how to swim.
Did not learn swimming, so that's a thing you should probably pray for.
Cool. So we're making good pace to West Harbor, New West Harbor, yeah.
You're continuing your regular pace, I would assume.
Cool.
Down the
This
path?
guy is this guy like slowing us down or?
Not particularly. I mean, he's trailing behind you, what you would maybe consider to be an unsafe distance, but he's trying to keep up with you, and he looks a bit pathetic, but he's not particularly. He's fairly out of shape. You can tell he gets winded, but he is still. It seems like he's able to keep up with some effort. So he's not completely useless. Looks like he has been on the road a few times before. He doesn't complain. He just kind of whimpers to himself as he follows you.
Would have been nice to have a cart.
No one engages him. Everyone just kind of.
I'll stay back with him.
I'm gonna encourage him to. Hey man, you might want to stick a little bit closer, lest the swamp wisp comes back for you.
I'm not great with running, necessarily. I'm
Yeah.
trying.
If he's having trouble keeping up, I'm more inclined to wait up for him. Make sure he doesn't fall behind.
What time of day is it?
You are sitting about at this point. It's midday.
Oh,
How long did we spend messing around with him and his wagon?
Basically, that amount of time that we just spent here. So not more than maybe an hour. You give a little bit of time of travel.
And you
Yeah.
said it was a couple hours to.
Yeah, you definitely a little bit of a detour. You're going to arrive a little bit later than you would liked, but you gave yourself a little bit of time. You're definitely going to make there before nightfall.
Edwin, did you bring any of those sausages with you?
no, it seems we're fresh out.
After a little bit more travel, do you want to engage with this guy before you get to your destination at all, or are you just
Yeah.
going to keep him company?
I'd like to know, for such a knowledgeable person, what led him to go off the trail.
He kind of gets a little bit depressed again. He whimpers a bit. It's like I wasn't even paying attention. I don't know why they went after those things or why they turned. I was dozing, if I'm being honest. I was just enjoying the ride, and all of a sudden, all hell broke loose, and I clambered outside of the wagon to the top, and I don't even know where Jim went. And he starts crying himself. I don't actually know the other two's names. I never learned them. He starts crying again.
Guy of knowledge, you don't seem to know much, friend. What was the job? Do you remember what the job was supposed to be out here?
He shakes his head. He's like, no. Somebody posted a job, village. He snaps his finger. He's like,
Wouldn't be Tarmus, would it?
I mean, it might have been. I don't remember the guy's name that posted it or what it was supposed to mean. It was the village, the New West Harbor. I remember that. Wipes his face again. Have it. Anybody have a clean cloth?
No.
Not I.
Sorry.
All right.
I think they got those in town, though.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. We'll continue on. Engage him. Ask him where he's from. What he does in town when he's not wandering around in places he shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. You get a little bit. Give me I guess they call it a persuasion check.
Sure. It'll be a 16.
Okay. He's been operating out of Waterdeep for a couple weeks now. He made friends with Jim. Jimmy, really. He doesn't remember Jimmy's last name, his surname. Jimmy was a fighter. He was a warrior. They were good friends. He'd only just met him, but they were good friends. He was the most friend he's had for a while now, since leaving the temple. He decided to be an adventurer. That was a life he wanted to lead. Originally, he was from Daggerford. That's where he grew up. He's not sure what he's going to do now. He's not sure if adventuring is really something he's cut out for. If he spent all that time training to be a cleric of Agma, he doesn't know where else to put all that effort. And he kind of digresses and whimpers. He's obviously despondent.
This is a dude who needs a long rest.
Yeah. It seems so. All right.
I will, as we're traveling, I will take the opportunities that I can to point out the lack of knowledge that he has in things. When he says he doesn't think he should be adventuring, I'll say, man, you know something.
Give me an intimidation check just for S&Gs.
I don't think I'm trying to be intimidating, but
I'm using that as a
13
reference. Okay. Yeah. Stings. You can tell you're stinging him. It's really hitting home. He's second guessing almost all of his life choices. All right. Eventually, you make your way to, you assume, is the village of New West Harbor. It's barely anything. The path opens up. Road basically ends here. You don't see, you see some kind of forking paths into this little village. You see about maybe half a dozen buildings, structures that you can actually make out. One is a barn. You can hear what sounds like some work going on in the barn. And someone hears a little bit of running water. There's a bit of sounds like there's water nearby. And you see a few people meandering about, settling into their day-to-day lives. No one really comes to greet you. There's not even a sign that this is the name of the town.
Is it normal for people to greet you when you get to a new town?
Welcoming committee?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Signs? Posters?
Depends how popular I am.
Did we have a place of contact to find this Tarmus, Mr. Tarmus?
No, you just had the name.
Cool. Is there an inn? Or a tavern?
You don't see... give me a...
Some place of communal gathering?
Give me a perception. Are you just going to, at a glance, give me a perception check?
That's a cock die.
Yeah.
All buildings look the same.
Yes. To the west, you see a somewhat larger building west of the barn, and then the path kind of meanders into where you see the rest of the structures. They're kind of all grouped together in the little residences.
I'm going to look at a yokel.
Mm-hmm.
There's a yokel here.
Yeah, there's yokels.
Yeah. Hello, bud. How goes it today?
Kind of looks at you. Greetings.
Where can I find Tarmus?
Tarmus can be found probably in front of his abode.
Which is?
He points down the path to the east. He's like, if he's not outside, you can knock. You can make sense of it from all the beautiful scrimshaw.
Thank you.
Energetic fellow.
Yeah.
And he kind of like just walks away without acknowledging that. Kind of goes back towards the barn.
Is Barney still with us?
Mm-hmm. He's just kind of looking around.
Is he like if we start walking, when we start walking towards Tarmus's house, is he still following us?
Yes.
Is he close? Could I quietly have a conversation with my brother?
Absolutely. Yeah. He's not like yes. Oh, you mean can you?
He doesn't pay attention anyways. But is it seem possible that I can make a surreptitiously quiet conversation with my brethren without alerting him?
Do we just want to cut him loose?
I mean,
that's the question.
You can attempt. He's not. He is staying close enough to be within regular earshot. If you have a regular conversation, he will hear what you say.
So Barney's. Do you think you'll be able to find your way from here?
I suppose I just need to rest, and I don't have any way to resupply, but maybe these good folk will assist me, and I can make my way back.
I don't have any money to give you, or I would, but
yeah, unfortunately we're also adventurers, so we run pretty lean.
Oh yeah, I didn't hold the money.
You know, that would have been when I asked you specifically what absolutely needs to be saved in the wagon. One of the first things you should have said is the money.
Well, I have my book, so that's all. I'm sorry.
Well, you have something to read. Okay, well, you have a good day. Have fun going back to Waterdeep. Say hi to your mother for me.
I mean, I could help.
Hold on a second. So I'm gonna do one of these like
the huddle.
the huddle. Like, does anybody have confidence in this gentleman's abilities to do anything, considering his holy symbol reportedly has been flushed, and this guy for being
well, unless it looks like this one here, probably not.
Yeah, and that's a holy symbol that you could
I have
not
no
recognize.
idea. I have no idea what it is.
So it would not be that one.
Yeah. So I mean, for being a cleric of knowledge, he seems pretty obtuse. Am I wrong?
If you want him, you got to take care of him.
I'm kind of on like
I can understand him being a bit broken up, but he's not showing any signs of
competence
in anything.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried that he's gonna get himself injured, killed, something again.
Hey, are you competent?
I'm not. Yeah. I mean, No, I mean, I really am rethinking a lot of things, but I feel like I maybe owe you guys something, and I'm a little sad.
Okay, so let me tell you something, Barney. So you've been through a freaking ordeal, right?
Yes.
Terrible. So here's my suggestion for you. Why don't you go find an inn or a barn or something, take a good long rest. You can spend all sorts of time contemplating, metacognating, all the stuff you need to do, and then you just go home and on your way back, think of how you want to continue. Because you said that you're second guessing this whole adventuring thing. 100% it's not for everybody, right? So you definitely got to go home, think about it, become an accountant, something, I don't know.
Librarian
Something. Perhaps. Maybe an altar boy, I don't know. It's not my life, it's yours. But I think we're gonna let you go here and make your way. Good luck.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you all.
Barnes, are you willing to risk life and limb?
I mean, potentially.
No.
I'm gonna say no on that one too.
Can you move any faster?
I mean,
we got a 2v1 here.
Yeah, we're gonna say no. It's an awful quick flip from Cell when you're, if you want him, you got to take care of him too. Hey, buddy, you want to hang out with me for a while? So, mercurial.
Yeah, he seems a bit confused too because someone was just breaking him down a few minutes ago.
We got to let him go.
You can do what you wish. If you wish to do that in our general vicinity, that's up to you.
I wish you the best of luck. Give him a pat on the back.
I'll shake his hand. Good luck.
Oh, thank you.
Good luck. Stay on the trail this time.
You're fine, folk.
Follow no wisp.
Again, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go look for an inn or something.
I
saw a barn, and he just starts kind of wandering off, kind of in the same direction you're going.
Now it's just awkward.
Yeah, it's not a big village, so he's just kind of looking around, and you're
So,
completely in sight of
he's-
each other the entire time.
As he's walking like with us and stuff, I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna walk on the outside of kind of our trio here, and I'm gonna face into our trio and begin a conversation that he doesn't need to be a part of, and completely ignore him
Sure thing.
as we walk towards Thomas's house.
Okay.
So yeah, like I was saying, back at the end where we started this whole fucking adventure thing, yada 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 yada. I'm just gonna keep walking. I'm gonna pretend that he doesn't exist.
The thing is, he's the only one who survived.
Doesn't seem like that was his fault.
He's the only one alive.
Yeah, I don't quite see how that matters though, considering like there appeared to only be one wisp, and with 3 or 4 people in the party and all the horses, it might have just taken a while.
I don't know what the hell a wisp is. Is that what you're calling things?
That's what I'm calling that thing.
The ephemeral ball of light? Yeah, sounds kind of wispy.
Anyhow,
It's a lot less syllables.
continue going on to Tarmus's place.
So, you are in the village of New West Harbor, and you are now attempting to find the individual who put the posting for a job.
Tarmus.
Tarmus. You got a little bit of a direction from villager to his house. In this very small town, it shouldn't be very hard to find one individual. There's that many houses. So as you head east into the village proper, you can notice again a handful of small abodes. Some of them are structured a little bit better than others. Swamp town, kind of gross.
The gentleman that Selvin spoke with before, he seemed a little underenthused. So is there like a malaise or a general demeanor that I can, like a similar demeanor that I can see from everybody else walking? Does everybody else seem like their shoulders hunched and they're all like boom, boo, doo, 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 doo?
Sure, well, there's not a ton of people walking around, but go and give me an insight check.
God, why do I even ask? Why do I even ask?
What?
Did you bring up your concern?
Yeah. I mean, we spoke. We said that guy was a little.
Yeah, he's not a little enthused. So
Yeah.
you think there
They
might be
look
some?
like-
You think that there might be some kind of
Yeah, it's almost like he's a townie living
in the middle of nowhere?
in the middle of the swamp.
That's what it would appear to be to you.
Okay, I mean that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that
He doesn't have brain leeches.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much.
Sure,
Yeah.
why not? You've read some of those
There's
crazy, weird
there's sensational
fictional
rumors everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, terrible things happen in a swamp. So
Out in the middle of nowhere, you never know.
So we head towards the house. Do we find a house that has scrimshaw in front of it?
Yeah, you see, you see an elderly man sitting in front of this house, fairly well made wood, thatched roof. You do see some scrimshaw hanging, different little very basic things hanging on hooks and like mounted to the side of the house.
What type of stuff? Is there a theme?
Some of it looks just like random shapes, odd shapes. Others definitely appear to be a variety of things, animals, different creatures. A lot of what you do see kind of a theme to most of it. The majority of it has like a long scrimshaw like flute like artistry. It's hard to make out from a distance, but we're seeing like snakes and dragons and things like that. Long birds.
wow, this dude is eclectic.
Who's usually
It's all white. You notice everything is white. All the scrimshaw is white.
we've been traveling for a while. So who's usually
We're both pretty good talkers.
But I imagine you're more of a businessman than I am.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely more business. I'm a nice guy, but he's definitely the guy you want to talk to when you want to try to make people happy.
So you're approaching the building?
Sure,
The
I'll-
abode?
Yeah, it's not a business; it's a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll knock on the door.
No, there's a guy in front. He's sitting in front.
Oh, he's sitting around.
Yeah, he's sitting on a stoop, in fact, and he's got a piece of white material that he's just kind of scrimshaw he's carving into. At this point, you see, it's a man, definitely is elderly, human. He's dressed very simply, almost like aesthetic, almost like robes of a meditative sort. He's definitely dressed in a way that doesn't really match the rest of the townsfolk who are kind of in their typical kind of raggish.
Like he has a kind of authority to him, or he just dresses differently.
Like he's not.
He
poor?
doesn't dress. No. His clothing is very simple, but it doesn't match. In fact, it's simpler than the rest of the people. He has no jewelry on. He's very. You would assume he is of an aesthetic mind. He doesn't add much to his.
Wasn't this job for like $300?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Maybe he lives
Stop.
frugally.
I'm gonna stop in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna touch my head,
Mm-hmm.
feign a spell. Oh my God! I've had a vision. This is Tarmus's house, and this must be Tarmus.
He looks up at you. That is quite insightful. I am Thomas.
Hi, Tarmus. What's going on? I'm Bedouin. These are my compatriots. We heard that you needed some help. That you put out a call for a job, and we have quested here from Waterdeep to speak with you about it.
Unfortunately, there's not many other reasons for anyone to come out here this way, so I did assume that you were here for the job.
So I don't know. It's got a bit of a nice rustic aesthetic charm. It's not too bad of a place out here.
Right. That's part of the reason why I need this job done. But it's nice of you to say these poor folk really do need a bit of a boon. However, there's not much success here, and the town is failing a bit.
Sure. Well, why don't you tell us what kind of work you got needing here?
Certainly. Would you like to take a seat? You notice that as he kind of motions on, he's got like a front porch, and there's one chair on the front porch, and you can also kind of perch up on. There's almost like a fence, like a little bit of a porch.
Does it look sturdy enough that 3 armored and like laden?
I mean, you two could probably lean on it, fine.
Well, don't you have a lot of stuff?
But he's dwarvish, so he's not going to put a lot of... His weight's pretty centered in low gravity. So
I don't know if... He can probably lean. I don't know if he's going to sit on his feet or going to dangle.
I'm gonna sit in the chair.
Okay.
Give a little boost.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll lean against the back, and I'll look interested and thoughtful.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So he kind of looks at the review, and he's like, it's... I have some money squared away. I don't have much use for it now, and it's also not going to do much in the long run for these villagers who I care deeply about. I'm a bit of... You could say, have you ever heard the term archaeologist?
No.
It's possible you have. They do exist in the Forgotten Realms. They're not...
Is it an intelligence check?
It would be an intelligence history check.
I got a 10.
Okay.
Have I heard of archaeologist?
No, it sounds important. Sounds like some sort of job.
No, sir, I'm sorry. I'm not quite positive what an archaeologist is.
I'm not a true archaeologist. I haven't made it my life's work, but in my later years, I have found interest in ancient civilizations, ruins, so to speak, and artifacts that could be found there.
So you're a treasure hunter.
I am not myself. I have interest in such things, but not for necessarily treasure, more the historical value and the way that we could learn from such things. Again, that's almost a moot point. My particular love of that field is less important than the final result that I would like. You see, there are ruins in the swamp, and they're not normal ruins. I haven't been able to prove my theory yet, because I'm simply not capable of exploring them as thoroughly as I would like. However, I do believe... You're all familiar with the spell plague, of course.
Of course.
The period of time that we also had to suffer from the results of the spell plague. Well, during the spell plague, not everyone knows this, but our world that had been in ancient times split asunder into 2. So what was once a world called Abir Toril became 2 separate worlds out of phase with each other, Abir and Toril. But during the spell plague, the 2 worlds came together briefly and mixed the realities for a short period of time. And then, most recently, as the world was sundered again, those bits of Abir returned to their home world, and all that was Toril reestablished itself here.
So you want us to get you a beer?
Not a beer itself, but a fraction of it. Because I believe that the ruin that remains in the swamp is from that other realm. and has somehow stayed behind. And if I can garner interest in the potential for artifacts, just of historical significance is all I'm really expecting to find there, that could change New West Harbor from a soon-to-be-dead swamp village to a hub for expeditions that could last for hundreds of years. What I am hiring out for is individuals or groups to travel to these ruins to find some sort of clearly impressive artifact that is unique to these ruins that would prove that they're from Lost Abir, that I could then use to garner interest for adventurers and archaeologists to come and utilize our village as the staging point for deeper expeditions into these ancient ruins. Or not. I've actually, to be honest with you, I don't know if they're ancient at all, but they are certainly abandoned from what I've been able to garner.
How would we know what's unique and ancient?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I hired out for adventurers with the hope that they would have an eye for such things. Adventurers don't come from common stock. People who would come out here and take on this job are either going to have the wherewithal to make those kinds of decisions.
How many people have you hired?
You are the first that have arrived.
Really?
I only just posted this not a month ago.
Perhaps the journey was too treacherous for others.
It is a bit vague. I what I'm asking for, but again, sometimes the promise of value of monetary wealth isn't enough to drag people out this far into the swamp.
This job paid 500 gold.
300 gold. Yeah, 500 gold. I'll make a deception check if you want.
I mean, you can make a deception check.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're trying to deceive the person that put up the.
2, 7, 13.
Okay. He looks up and down. He's like, I know what I asked to be posted. I don't know if perhaps they posted something erroneous. In where were you from?
Waterdeep.
Oh, so I did send someone to post this in Waterdeep. I did not go myself. It is too arduous a journey for me in my infirmed years. But it is only 300 gold. It's all I have that I can actually spare.
300 will be fine.
It's pretty.
I again. Thank you. I feel that it is fairly generous for what I'm asking. Ideally, there just should be no danger to you or your companions. The swamp itself is dangerous. However, I do have. I've talked to the villagers, and if you will need a boat to make it out to these ruins. They are mostly submerged. I'm not sure how easy it'll be or how far you can get into the ruins before you find flooded areas, but the ruins are massive, and I can't give you much direction as to where you're going to find something of interest. But from what I've been able to gather, and I have traveled there myself with some villagers to kind of get an idea of this place, there are various potential entryways. And again, all I need is something that seems significant and alien and strange to our world. I will leave that to your judgment. You seem to be fairly well traveled and from different walks of life and origins.
So let me get this straight. The job is to go out to these ruins and find something that is super alien, and it seems to me that if it's like if we'll know it when we see it, probably.
If it would spark your interest as something interesting or important, then likely it will spark others' interests.
All right,
so
cool.
I will leave that to your judgment.
Do you have a map to map us out to these ruins or anything?
I do not have a map. I have a vague outline of where it could be. It's difficult to point a direction in what is effectively a large body of water, with trees and vegetation that can become confusing like a maze. I have a general direction of where you would go, and if you have any knowledge of boat use, you should be adequately equipped to find your way there. He does point out he gives you a few pointers of the three entrances. He knows 3 potential entrances. and he gives you a vague idea of where to get them. And if you wanted, you have parchment, he can kind of point out and create a map. But he's not thought to draw an actual map. I unfortunately am not a cartographer.
What are you? You're an archaeologist.
An amateur archaeologist. I have interest in that.
What are you a professional?
At this point, I just carve my little trinkets.
What's the quality of his scrimshaw?
Give me a intelligence check, I suppose, or
What's appraise? What do they change appraise to?
there's not a specific appraise, but I'm going to go ahead and say you can make a straight intelligence check if you'd like.
Do
to
we
see if
get
you
any
a sense.
bonuses to that because of my background?
No, not necessarily. No.
I think it's pretty high. That is a 17.
You didn't really spend much time in Luskin or other port cities. Waterdeep has some similar art pieces, so you have some sense of what things could potentially be worth. They're very well done. When you look in some of the detail is immaculate. It's
And is this whalebone or is this just something else?
It's definitely bone.
Okay.
All of the scrimshaw seems to be carved out of bones. And you see a lot of motifs with serpents and dragons and other odd glyphs. It's hard to make out a lot of them. A lot of these are smaller pieces that are hanging out here. Nothing from a value standpoint. The pieces are so small, they probably, unless you find a particular collector, they probably aren't worth much. But if a large enough piece that he did, you think you probably could convince somebody to actually find quite a lot of worth in it.
You do good work.
He kind of blushes a little. He says, thank you. I've been doing this for most of my life.
If we find your trinket,
Mm-hmm.
can I commission a piece as a bonus?
Certainly, I would. What kind of piece?
I don't know.
Look it over.
I'm positive we can work something out.
Is there a place for us to perhaps rest for the night? We head off bright and early in the morning. Also, we need to find a place with a boat that's willing to let us rent a boat.
Well, you won't have to rent a boat. I've talked to the villagers. They'll have a boat prepared for you. But if you need to spend
Good
the
thing
night,
we were first.
yeah, they don't do a lot of boat rental work.
I don't suppose they got very many
Not
boats.
a lot of airboat gator rides.
Yeehaw!
No, that would be a pretty good idea for them to make some revenue.
Have like a sorcerer in the back, like with Gus just pushing the boat.
He points out, he's
Oh,
like,
we
well,
did a swamp war there.
we don't have an actual inn. At least nothing that's been established yet. We're contemplating if I would like to convince them to convert one of the buildings to an inn. Currently, though, we have a town meeting hall, and we have the barn. Though the barn ultimately we can clear that out space for you in the evening in the barn once everyone's done with their work. The meeting hall is a bit cramped. It's not the most comfortable, though. We can probably find a more comfortable space in the barn.
How about food and bev? Is there a place we can find some of that in here?
You see him kind of does this for a moment. Harmon's house. Harmon's wife enjoys cooking, and I've spoken to her, so she could probably provide some meals.
Cool. All right.
It won't be anything spectacular.
Well, we aren't looking for 5-star Michelin rating here. We're just looking for a little fried gator tail or something just to fill our tums.
Certainly. Well, I'm confident you will find something amazing when you head out.
Sweet. Are we done? We got everything we want out of this whole guy?
Is
so.
there anything we need to be aware of in these ruins?
Or in the water out there?
Well, in the ruins, I wouldn't know. I've never delved into them at all. I didn't notice anything when I found them that seemed obviously dangerous. Though with any ruin, there might be threats. There might be danger. In the swamp, there is absolutely danger. There are tribes of lizard folk and all sorts of other creatures, large, blood-sucking beasts to worry about, as well as swarms of insects. That's your common problems that you'll probably run into.
When you can resupply.
Yes. All right, so we're What time of day is it now?
Or at this point, you're probably early afternoon, mid afternoon.
All right, so basically we're just finding a place to hang out until tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask him if there's a freshwater river that is not part of the swamp, some kind of source of clean water. I am covered in all sorts of gunk.
Okay.
I'm just asking.
Do you guys happen to have some sort of isolated body of water, flowing, non-stagnant water that isn't really touched by any of the growth around here? Perhaps just a simple brook of wonderful, pure, clean mountain spring water just flowing through this swamp.
He raises his eyebrow at you. We don't have anything like that. No. The water where the boat is mired is in fact part of the swamp. It is relatively clear.
Where
by
do you
the
guys
town.
bathe?
Do we what?
Oh,
We collect rainwater, of which there is plentiful. So we do have water basins.
You guys don't have a well?
No. He looks at you and he looks around. No.
so I'd like to do some sort of insight on that. That was kind of a peculiar thing.
Yeah.
Somebody else should do it too, because I'm pretty bad at this shit. Insight is wisdom?
It does seem weird that they wouldn't have a well
Insight
of
is
some
wisdom.
kind.
Never mind. I know exactly what he's thinking.
Inside is wisdom, right?
I got a natural 20.
I got a 6. Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I know exactly what he's thinking.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay, so he does that. You do not know exactly what he's thinking, but that certainly caught him off guard for some reason.
The fact that we would ask for a well?
He didn't think that a well was something.
Well,
You saw him like there was a break in his demeanor.
we got some time to kill until tomorrow. How much would you pay for me to dig a well?
No, that's fine. We make do. Thank you though for your generosity.
Cool. I'm cool. I'm done. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
All right.
No
So what's
one's
the plan?
No one's coming here if there's no well.
I mean, no one's coming here considering that there's no commerce that happens here. People just fend for themselves. Nobody's buying and
So-
selling.
He is and just to get clarification, you did roll a natural 20.
I did.
He is clearly that caught him off guard. His demeanor broke. He is not. There is whatever his life story is. Like you saw a flash of 2 seconds. Like whatever his life story is that he told you, it is not even remotely what his life story is. Like you just saw it. Like,
Oh.
you're like that's like all.
He
of it
snapped
is
him out of his story.
for like a second, and then he's back to normal. But you're like that is your impression from that. You have nothing to back it up. No one else saw it.
You said
But that's your
this
assumption.
dude has like robes that are different, like substantially different from what everybody else.
Certainly, yeah.
So
It's not a common. His manner of dress is not a common thing. But you could give me a history check if you think you want to place it.
sure.
I wonder how long he had to save up stuff to be able to pay us 300 given
10.
the state of this place.
No, yeah,
Dodd.
10. Yeah, I'll ask him. Hey, look, I don't mean to be pry here, and I don't mean to offend a man of such an advanced age and wisdom as you. But I have noticed with my eye parts that you are wearing clothes that are a bit different from what everybody else here has. And I wonder if there's a particular reason for it.
I prefer to keep things simple.
I mean, that guy keeps it pretty simple, too. He's got a nice homespun tunic and all that other stuff.
I prefer an ease of movement.
Cool. What did you do as a career, as a means of sustenance forever?
Even beyond my simple scrimshaw.
Yeah, I mean, well, I asked if you were a professional scrimshaw, and you said no. So
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh.
Well, he's not a professional archaeologist.
that's it. Persuasion, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a 20.
Oh, okay.
Not a natural, but a dirty 20.
Dirty 20 would be the
Dirty
term. Is the term that is generally used. You can say 20 with everyone get exciting. He looks at you. He kind of there's like a little smirk comes across his face. He's like, well, there was a time in the distant past when I was a bit of an adventurer of sorts.
Really?
Much like yourselves.
What did you do? I'm trying to act excited so as to pull more information out of this old man.
Yeah, he's nothing particularly epic. I like to keep my needs simple. I mostly I mostly fought with my hands, and did the normal adventuring things. Found companions, journeyed with them for a time. Found my own passions in life and pursued those as I became older.
Were you like a monk?
No, that would be a term.
Sweet!
You would use that term to describe my particular path.
Cool. So speaking as an adventurer, one adventure to another, like where'd you go? Like we've been all over too. If you want, do you want to swap war stories or?
You should tell him the sausage story, Bedouin.
Oh yeah, so I tell him the sausage story.
Sausage, a story of sausage. I've eaten sausage before.
Oh yeah, no. So there's this one time where we were sitting around a campfire and we were eating sausages and an owlbear came out and tried to kill us, and we fought it back, but it stole our sausages and ran away, and we couldn't find it.
Interesting. I don't mean to be rude, but if I were to tell that story, I think I would probably refer to it as the owlbear story, and not the sausage story.
Well,
He
no.
has
See,
a point.
no. See, here's where you're wrong, my dear friend Tarmus. Is if you start with the owlbear story, you just told the story, but we started with the sausage story. Now, when I say this, when my friend someone here says the sausage story, you're like, well, what the hell could happen with sausage?
I walk away.
Kind of looks at someone, walk away, and looks back at you. Well, you are clearly a more accomplished storyteller than I. Again, simple. That's my life. Flowery prose is certainly not a passion I pursued.
All right. Well, I mean, it's good to see. It's good to see that we can live long enough to be old and sit on a porch and scrimshaw and stuff. So you've lifted my spirits.
I'm glad I could be assistance.
Cool,
I'm
bro.
gonna walk away.
All right, y'all have a good night. We're gonna go commiserate.
Sure.
Hopefully, we'll have good news later.
Yeah, straight up.
Alrighty. So your plan is to commiserate.
Yeah, that dude really got pissed when I brought up the whole adventuring thing, didn't I?
So what would your plan be? You're gonna go find this Harmon house.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. You find this. You're how deep you want to get into the evening's plans.
I figured we'd walk over to Harmon's house, say Mr. Tarmus sent us and said that your wife is the best cook in town and that we would like to partake of her fare. And then later on, and while we decide where we're going to sleep tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. Discuss where we're gonna sit tonight,
And-
and compliment them on the food. Ask them if they want to hear a couple songs.
Judge the
Discuss
good
about
smells of all
things.
men,
Sure thing.
sing sad songs of
Yeah.
Kings.
You meet Hiram.
the wife.
Hiram is the husband.
It's
Ooh.
obviously a dude's name.
But I thought his name was Harmon.
It's his last name.
Hiram Harmon.
Hey, I'm not his dad.
Zoinks.
Yeah. And his wife Ilan.
Highwind Harmon and Ilan Harmon. All right.
I mean, you're already immediately passing judgment on his lifestyle.
It was a
choices.
weird wedding.
Yeah. Awful wordy. So yeah, cool.
Yeah. So you meet them. He's. Oh, Tarmus sent you. That's wonderful. Please partake of my wife's food.
Are these also like real soft-spoken?
They do seem similar in their mannerism. They look a little dour. They're not easily excited.
I think the fish are a little funky.
I mean, who
Combine
wants
anything you
to
do.
live in a swamp all the time?
But they're pleasant. You know, the food is decent. You know,
Yeah.
it's very basic. There's like no spice to it, but it's edible. Just like a stew, like a fish stew. You think it's fish. If you ask, they say it's fish.
Hmm.
Fun enough.
Do you offer to play?
I do. I offer to play my
Go ahead and
lute.
give me a performance check. To see how your evening
Ooh.
it panned out.
Can I use my divine inspiration?
It's the humidity, is what it is. The humidity has stretched all the strings.
It's a 9.
It's a little bit less than average.
But as good as the food.
I got a little waterlogged.
Yeah. That's you just jump in the water. It probably is out of tune. The wood might be a little warped.
A little bit.
Dang, I gotta dry this out.
Yeah.
So you're a little paranoid about that while you're doing it. They very politely applaud. They're like, "Oh, thank you. It's quite lovely. We normally don't have this kind of music in our evenings when we're having dinner."
You normally don't have bad music?
I'm normally better.
Oh no, and Ilan is like, "Oh no, I thought it was quite lovely." It was nice. Thank
How,
you.
how do you feel about this town?
It's nice. It's lovely.
Exactly.
It's our home.
Daggers.
What did the family think about us laughing at their town?
Oh no, they see you're laughing. They're like, yes, yes,
Cool.
joviality. It's wonderful. I love this. This is great.
Yep.
Yeah, they're just polite. They're just polite. You don't know. I mean,
Jesus. It's a
Get
bunch of
them
freaking Lutherans. Methodists.
There's something. I'm getting serious vibes of something is terribly wrong.
Or terribly right.
So this isn't where we're supposed to sleep, right?
no,
Correct. No,
They're like,
we should have chosen whether
What?
sleeping in the town hall or a barn.
What do you normally pay for mediocre food?
Oh well, they're not asking for money.
No, I'm saying, but what would you normally pay for mediocre
What,
food?
who are you asking? Me, Ramsey?
Yes, the
Yeah,
guy who
I
knows who creates the world. Yes.
Yeah.
How much is
I mean,
is appropriate?
I mean, you wouldn't pay more than like a copper or two, I would think.
I will give them a coin.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, a coin. I mean, because you're paying like 6 copper for a poor meal, a regular meal,
Yeah.
and this is just somebody's house. So I don't know if you really want to pay them for like you're at a restaurant or a tavern. That's up to you. You want to pay them a full amount as if they just served you?
I appreciate the hospitality.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a silver coin.
Okay, so then more like 5-6 copper pieces, half
Okay.
a silver. would be
Sure.
more
Cool.
appropriate.
I appreciate the hospitality.
But
I'm going
we-
to give you a coin.
No, you really don't have to. We don't need this. It's perfectly our pleasure. We have enough food. You're
Well-
going to. Your
Consider it a
Thomas says you'll be helping the town.
That's true. But normally, where I come from, if somebody's going to share in your food and your hospitality, they're going to do some work for you. And I can't really build a fence for you here today, so I'm just going to give you what it would cost for me to build a fence.
Well, that's quite generous of you. Thank you.
Cool.
You notice that
Is there anything valuable?
Hiram doesn't really talk much. He just kind of laughs and agrees. And mostly Alien is the one who speaks.
Does anything catch my eye inside their place?
Oh my god.
Of things of worth? No. It's it looks like it's decorated like a home, like a very poor home would be. Things aren't particularly squalid. Like there's not a lot of lived-in dirt or mess. Everything's in a very proper place. Everything's put away. They put things back the way it should be put. Everything's kept tidy. But you don't see anything that looks like it's worth money. You don't even see a piece of scrimshaw.
Okay.
Like they haven't even bothered to take that or use that from what Thomas has all over his house.
I'll ask Hiram. Did they do any trade through this town at all?
I mean, we don't do a ton of trade. We don't have much to offer. We're trying to eke out a living of fishing and farming, but there's just not much interest in the path. The actual road is difficult, and we haven't been able to build that up appropriately. We just have roots in this town, and we wanted to kind of try to make it work.
Cool. Fair enough.
Has anyone else been by here?
No.
We
All right.
appreciate the hospitality.
Where are we going to sleep? Town hall, cramped, or barn?
My
Barn.
vote's for the barn.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Right. So yeah,
To the barn.
Sure thing. There's still people kind of ending their day, but you're able to time it. They're able to set aside a spot. They put some blankets over some of their, like there's wood. There's not a lot of hay. There's nothing like that in this barn. It's not that type of thing. But there's space there, and it's pretty open. They have a lot of work. There's woodwork being done in one portion of the barn, and thatch work, things like that. It's where they do most of their work. A lot of the stuff's spilling out outside the building.
So there's some downtime.
Certainly.
I kind of want to explore the town.
Sure. So, in the section of town that you're at, which you would say would be west, there are 2 large buildings, and that's pretty much right as you would come in from the path into town. You would see the barn first of all, and then they said would be the town meeting hall, or the what they consider to be the storage space. If you're starting over there and you're kind of exploring the town, I'll show you what you see there. What are you guys going with them, or are you going to do something different, or are you just going to get bed down? Just going to leave?
I
Selling.
intentionally tried to go on my own.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine with me.
I'm perfectly cool
Sure.
hanging out.
so I'll just give you
Resting and getting back my spells.
Sure thing. So, that meeting hall, when they say storage, it looks like there is food storage there and a lot of like wood paneling, like a lot of stuff they did from the bar fits in there. There is some room for meeting, but it's kind of a mess in there.
So I'm looking for something weird or valuable.
Sure. So
if it's just normal town stuff and I don't care,
mm-hmm.
I also want to see if I can locate Brian's, was his name?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Barney's.
Barney's. It was a plural something.
Yeah. You see, this is still, it's not quite time to go to bed. You make your way through the majority of the towns. There's a few different buildings, which are personal homes. Tarmus's place and Iron's place. As you travel a little bit north from that east side of the town, there is a bridge that goes over a stream or a brook of some kind. Not quite running water. It looks like it is just swamp water. But it's fairly deep, and it's fairly built up, and it's fairly wide. And you can see a boat moored. You see actually several boats moored there with some fishing tackle equipment kind of tied to the side. You can see, actually, while you're looking there, you do see Barney's sitting kind of by the bridge, which is actually, you can see it's covered, though it looks like it's in disrepair.
Mm-hmm.
But he's sitting by the bridge. He's kind of looking out of the water, kind of a little despondent. You would assume. Depends on how insightful you are. Beyond the bridge, you see a path that leads up on kind of a raised section of this. You would almost call it a hill. It does kind of raise up. For a swamp, you would call it a hill. You would not call it a hill anywhere else except in a swamp.
Okay.
And you see that there seems to be some sort of structure of some sort on top of the hill.
All right. If that's not too far out of the way, I'll go investigate it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not worth investigating, I'm doing a superficial thing.
Right. Okay.
So,
did you say anything to Barney's as you walk by, or did you just make a point to ignore him?
I look at him
Mm-hmm.
and I greet him. I'll make small talk to see if he's still the same.
Okay. He is.
Right.
He's like, I think I'm going to stay in the barn as well. Are you guys staying in the barn tonight?
I just walk off. All right.
I know you're gonna. What else? You want to look at the thing on the hills, or no?
Does it just look like another crappy building, or does it look?
No, it doesn't look like a building. It looks like a stone, like a structure.
Yeah. So I'll go check it out.
Sure. It appears to be a shrine.
Do I know?
Give me a religion check.
Oh. That's wisdom or intelligence?
Intelligent.
So that's a 4.
Yeah. You're not really sure. There's not anything written in Common or Dwarvish that seems to indicate this is a shrine to something. There's symbology and there's some symbols. You see some kind of natural depictions carved into like this wooden shrine of like springs and streams and waterfalls. It kind of has a woodsy kind of peaceful vibe to it. Though it's in kind of disrepair.
Are there any offerings?
You don't see any offerings, no.
I'll leave a coin there and head on.
Okay.
All right. Nothing else of interest particularly?
No, nothing that really catches your
eye. How big was Tarmus's house?
In comparison to the other houses, about the same size. In fact, it's actually smaller than some of the other ones.
Okay. All right.
So Hiram Harm's house is probably the largest house.
Okay.
In the village.
So I go back to the barn. That's what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
And I separate you. Look. If he's got 300 to pay us, he's got to have more. Probably be much easier and quicker just to dip in the house, get what we need to get, back home.
I don't know. He said he was an old monk. He said he was an old monk here, and those can be surprising folk. That he could, he even though he just spends all day sitting on a chair skirmishing and stuff, he could still kick our ass.
I don't make a habit of getting caught.
No, but if he's a monk, chances are that his ability to perceive such things could be.
I don't see what his religious proclivities have to do with where he keeps his stuff.
I mean, if you want to try it, you can go for it. But if you threaten our potential 300 gold payout, I mean, I might have to set you on fire.
I don't know if this is something that one person can do.
Tough. Then I turn and I walk the other way. As I'm walking, I'm like, well, I'm sure you can find Barney's.
Speaking of the devil, Barney's comes wandering into the barn. Hey guys, where are you sleeping? I'm gonna.
Hey Barney's.
Is it late-ish?
It's settling down time.
I will find a relatively dry, clean spot in the barn. Put my sweet cap on. And bye.
Yeah. You see him. What does this cap look like that you?
So it's a nightcap, and it has different phases of the moon on there, and stars, and like starbursts.
Little clouds. Does it have clouds?
Yes.
Also clouds. What color is it?
It's blue.
And you see, as every night that you've known Selwyn, when you've been in his presence, he just curls up into a little ball or a little comfy little position. A little smile always creeps over his face, and he sleeps soundly. Sleep of the just.
So I'm gonna call Barney's over.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I don't remember your name.
Hi, I'm Bedouin. So you're a cleric of which deity?
Agma.
Agma. As part of a cleric, is there any like stories, epic tales of Agma and stuff like that?
I mean, all tales of Agma are epic.
Cool. So I'm gonna like get close and hush tones. Like, look, my friend Selwyn over there, the dwarf. He's a little lost, spiritually, and I was hoping that you could. While he's trying to sleep, if you could tell him some epic tales of Agma, to try to help him get dreams, perhaps help save his soul just a little bit. Just to, I just really think he needs to believe in something, and perhaps subliminally while you speak these epic tales of Ogwash.
Sure, you don't actually believe this though, right?
Oh, this is a hard.
So give me a deception
This
check.
is a hardcore deception check.
Is that would that be? You can't actually see it.
That would be a natural one.
Natural one. That's great.
Still
So
6 if you want to play that game.
He looks at you.
Is there any way that I can get an advantage on this?
No.
Hey, buddy, come over here. I'm doing a funny thing.
Yeah. Surprisingly, Barney's is not actually that gullible. He looks at you and he looks at the sweetly sleeping Selwyn, and just goes, "Oh, I don't really think that would be a great idea. It looks like whatever beliefs he has, dwarves do believe weird things, but I don't think it's my place to interfere. That's not what Ogma's about. If he wants to learn, I can certainly engage him in the daytime when he is awake and more open to all the wonders of the world and learning all the intricacies of our histories."
All right. Well, perhaps you should sleep close to him so that he can have the opportunity to do so tomorrow morning on the morrow.
Mm-hmm. I would prefer not to, but I'll find a space away from you all, if that's okay.
Yeah, cool.
You just got rejected.
I did.
So he does.
Oh.
He does.
Oh.
And by Barney's of all people.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So the four of you find your places to sleep in the evening, and
Damn you, Barney's.
at least one of you has a extremely comfortable, pleasant night's sleep. You're a little flustered, so your sleep might be a little disturbed. And you don't really well, actually, no, you do sleep as a half up. You just can't be put to sleep magically still.
Correct.
Get a little bit of that a little bit in blood. Well, that's your day, and I think that's going to be our night, too. Because it's a good place to kind of wind things down, to see where you're at. When we come back, you'll have a whole day of swamp boating
Sweet.
to look forward to.
And my spell slots.
And all your spell slots.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, guys. I am very glad that if anybody is watching this, hopefully they enjoyed it. We're just starting out with these guys. We'll see how things pan out. I like to stick you guys in the swamp. We open up all of Waterdeep in front of you, all the splendor of this cosmopolitan and exciting city, my favorite city in all the Forgotten Realms. And I definitely wanted to start in a stinky, gross swamp in a shitville village to begin, because that's just how I roll.
That just fits the theme.
Yeah, shitstorm.
All right, cool.
Actually, before we go, is there anything you plan to do in the night? You're going to sleep soundly. Everyone's going to bed. So when we come back to this, you're going to be the next day. Unless you get attacked by more owlbears.
Yeah, I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah, hopefully going to sleep well. Prepare different spells in the morning.
Well, for those watching, thanks for joining us. And hopefully you come back next time. See what happens to these fools.